Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. We are here for another edition of our daily devotion. We are working our way through the Gospel of Matthew, and we are in the 6th chapter. Today we're going to look at verses 16 to 18. So just a small bite here today. We'll have a little bigger bite, I think, tomorrow. But today we're just looking at fasting, concerning fasting. The verses 16 to 18 many times are included with verses 6:1 through 6:18, sometimes skipping the part about the Lord's Prayer. But these are often things that we talk about at the beginning of Lent because it has to do with giving and it has to do with prayer and it has to do with fasting. So these are some of the things that we talk about in Lent. So it's quite apropos that we are talking about this during this first full week. It's been a week since the Ash Wednesday. Today, as I'm recording this, tomorrow it'll be more than that. But as I'm recording this, it's been a full week since Ash Wednesday. So it is appropriate we talk about this section of Scripture, 6:1 through 6:18. So again, this is about fasting. So let's jump right into it and talk about it. And actually, we kind of will be backing up a little bit today because part of what we're doing is this, because all of this kind of ties together very much so. So let's see what we have. And whenever you fast, do not look dismal like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces so as to show others that they are fasting. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward. When you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face, so that your fasting may be seen not by others, but by your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. So there is some very much continuity there as to what the almsgiving and praying, and that we aren't supposed to make it flashy. We keep it in secret. We keep it away from everyone. The idea here is that this both the almsgiving, the prayer, the fasting, these are all things that are supposed to be lifting not only our eyes but other people's eyes up to God. And if we're doing things here, trying to make it so that people focus their attention on us by being so dramatic and drama. The world loves drama nowadays, and I think that's perpetuated largely by social media. Well, it's aggravated, let's put it that way, by social media. We all want this 15 minutes of fame or 15 seconds or 15 nanoseconds really anymore. We want people to notice us and notice what we're, how great we are. And there's a little bit of tongue in cheek when we do this, as we're doing when I have my own YouTube channel. But I don't do this to bring attention to myself. That's never the point. The point is what I'm saying. It's not who is saying it, it's what I'm saying is the important part, and who I'm saying it about, who is God. So that hopefully your eyes, my eyes as well, are lifted from this plane to a higher plane to look up and to see the Lord. Okay? And to see that which is the important thing. If we're doing our almsgiving, trying to draw attention to ourselves, if we're doing our loud prayers on the corner, trying to draw attention to ourselves, and if we're fasting and acting like, oh, look at me, and I'm so suffering, this bears in mind, or we should bear in mind. I can't talk today. Apologize for that. We should bear in mind that in the Jewish faith, they're only required to fast on one day, and that's on the Day of Atonement. Any other fasting they were doing was additional. We typically talk about fasting during Lent, but we don't do typically. Some people do, but typically we don't on a normal basis have a time of year when we're fasting other than Lent. The people will do it sometimes to try to refocus themselves and to focus on God. Remember, it's always supposed to be we're looking to God, not looking to ourselves or to others. So one thing I do want to mention about this is that, again, as I started to say, there's so much drama in the world. Be aware, not just in the fasting and the almsgiving and the prayer, but in you're living your life and to stir up as much drama as you can, to draw eyes to you, to somehow build up your own self-import, even if it's about how, oh, woe is me, I'm always this, or I know people that are this way, and I won't name names. He named names. That's the Seinfeld reference. I won't name names, but I know people that if you say to them, "Oh my, I've got a headache today," "Oh, I've had a headache all week," and it's always topping you. And if you say something, and if you're always talking with a, and it's always a big sigh when you go to talk, you say, "How are you today?" And drama. We want to know if you're having a problem. Yes, we care. But let's not build up the drama. It's not about drawing attention to ourselves. We have to remember that our lives should always be about drawing attention to God. We want to live our lives, though, by focusing on the other and caring for them, I should say. I shouldn't say focus is a little wrong word, but working to help the other. But we should always bear in mind that our working to help the other is ultimately to have them to look up to God, not to just simply, be feeding them or what have you. We do those things because it's difficult to get people to think about God when they're worried about their earthly problems. But we have to get you to a point where you understand that your earthly problems are not the real problems. The problems of the world are the problems of spirituality. I've been doing a lot of reading today on why the mainline Christian churches have been dying for so long, and it was a really interesting article that I've been reading. And it is something that is interesting, but not just the mainline churches are having trouble. Many others are having trouble as well, if not most. It's more the majority that are having troubles. And I think a lot of it is because we don't focus on God. We don't, not even the church, but the individuals, the laity, is not looking at God. We're so self-absorbed in our own worlds and we're building up so many false idols. It's a hard thing to look at, a hard lesson to take, but we need to realize that this life here is transient. We're not here for the duration. We're with God for the eternity, or we're away from God for the eternity. That's the converse. Let's not do that. Let's try to bring as many folks to God as we can. Let's let our fasting, our prayer, our almsgiving all be directed towards working towards bringing folks to God. And that'll lead us into what we talk about tomorrow. So let's let it go with that and have a blessed day today. Try to be a blessing to someone today if you can, please. The best way to be a blessing is to tell somebody about God. Tell them about Jesus. Have a blessed day. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.